Let's go, Rider Nation.
I'm ready. I'm ready. Yeah, here we go. It's a feeling now. Hit 'em high, hit 'em low, 'cause we're dealing now. Everybody's giving it all they got, 'cause we're ready.
I'm in tears.
We're a mess.
We?
Yeah, Steve, you're a mess.
It's all me.
Steve-
I am
Steve's
a
a
hot
mess.
mess.
Oh. that was awesome.
Wow. I
First
really
show of the
thought
year, and I'm in
really
mid-season form.
2026 was going to be your year, Steve. I really thought it was going to be your year.
I knew better.
New Year, same Steve. That's what
Oh,
that
boy.
just proved to me right now.
I've known you for so long that I'm disappointed in myself for believing in you.
There we go. That sounds about
I'm
right.
good. Let's go.
Oh, man. This is the Piffles podcast, your Saskatchewan Rough Riders fan podcast. Thanks for joining us here. First show of 2026. Gentlemen, how were the holidays for you guys?
Oh, well, I had 2 birthdays and a New Year's Eve working night in right after Christmas. So I am ready for my vacation. Let's get out of here.
So, right, we get. Oh, speaking of vacations, we get no Steve for what, 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
Oh,
I still think he should go on because you're taking a cruise, man. I think you should do the show from wherever port you're in that day. I really think you should.
a floating hotel. You
I
can't
might.
leave.
We'll have to see where we are. I'll have to look at the calendar and see if my wife still likes me.
My guess will be no, but also you're not allowed to do that.
Yeah, no.
Greg, your holidays?
It was all right. Pretty quiet. I was forced to take days off because I had to burn vacation days at the end of the year. So
Darn.
I know, right? It was the first time I had like 12 days off in a row in a very long time. So by the middle of it, I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? I need to do something. But yeah, no, it was good. Kids were good. Didn't have to. My parents, of course, winter in Mexico, so don't get down there that much. So that's going to be next year, and it's, pretty quiet. Stayed around Regina, so it was fun. Yours?
Busy then quiet, which is the way that it always is. So I had like 3 days off, so that was nice.
But the Riders gave us a gift.
They sure did. And we called it because the last episode we had was on Festivus on the 23rd of December, no less. And we said right after the show ended, we came back onto the chat here, and we said they have to sign Sam Emilus, right? They have to. Like, it's got to be announced on the 24th, right? Sure enough. We'll talk about that in a second. This, of course, your Saskatchewan Rough Riders fan podcast. Thanks for watching on YouTube, SaskTel Max TV on demand, listening wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Alex.
I'm Steve.
And I'm Greg today because we've already rambled too long. So,
Piffles podcast brought to you by our great friends at Dairy Queen on Elphinstone Street and Sask Drive in Regina. We're also proud to be sponsored by Kathy Festian of Roy LePage Next Level, Churchill Brewing Company, District 306, Regina's Tactical Laser Tag Experience, Bigfoot Vodka, and Creasy's Premium Home Leisure Jacuzzi Spas. With the new year, Greg, do you have to say is it in the contract this year too?
I thought I thought there was a player option on it, but I don't need your pity follows. So at Craig on Sports.
Okay, and you know where to follow us. We're easy to find. Social media, Piffles Pod. Let's get talking some Riders. First time of the year. It's time for the opening kickoff. We'll talk about the Sam Emilus signing in a little bit because there's going to be a trickle-down effect from that. But the big news this week anyway happened today on Tuesday. Dante Myers, pending free agent for the Riders, obviously Grey Cup champion, huge season last year, was an all-star, signed with the Cincinnati Bengals, had a whole bunch of workouts with 5 or 6 NFL teams.
Yeah, you had 5. Yeah, it was definitely
5.
Yeah.
Signed with the Bengals. I think we all knew it was coming. We figured with all the workouts, it's just a matter of time. on the 5th was the first day that teams could start doing, future contracts. And it was one day later that he signs with the Bengals. So just want to say congratulations, Dante Myers. Good for you. You earned it. You deserve it. I wish you all the best. And frankly, it's one of those things, right? Like you want the guy to succeed. You want him back in Rider Green if possible, but I hope we never see him in a Rough Rider jersey again, because that means that he did it, that he made it in the NFL.
I was really hoping, if anything, he was going to end up in the NFC North, just so we could enjoy that. Because I knew
Why?
he didn't work. Because I knew he didn't work out for the Packers. That being said, yeah, you knew he was getting a shot. Like we knew last year before he got dinged up and they brought him in, kind of like a quarter of a season in. Like he started on the practice roster last year, and when he came on, he made an immediate impact, both with his speed and his hands and his route running. So we knew we had something really good, and we were all excited for him this year for a full season, and he didn't disappoint. I think it was actually Jamie Nye today that said if it wasn't for his catch in the West Final, chances are the Riders weren't making the Grey Cup this year. And he's not wrong. Like that was a key catch at a key moment by a very good player.
Honestly, this is what you both said it. This was a matter of not if, but when and where. We knew he was gone as soon as the season ended. And when the workouts started piling up the way they were, you knew it was happening. The thing that surprises me the most is where he ended up. A team like Cincinnati that is stacked at receiver makes you wonder if he's going to get a legitimate look there. I don't know, but there's the whole kick returner option, and his size bodes well for that a lot more than a starting receiver in the NFL. So,
but that brings up a good point, because I saw somebody on Rider Fans say this. Yeah, you got Jamar Chase and T. Higgins in Cincinnati. You're not going to unseat those guys, but with two number one receivers, they're probably not going to invest any draft capital into a receiver. You're probably not going to sign many undrafted free agent receivers. So there might be a little pathway for him to kind of get noticed in OTAs and in mini camps and even in training camp. So this might not actually be a bad place for him to be. Even if he's just a practice roster guy, he's still going to make more than he would here in the CFL. And that's with his upcoming, significant raise that he would be getting up here in Canada. So yeah, not going to get a starting lineup spot, but name me a place where anybody from the CFL really is going up and getting a starting spot in the NFL. It just doesn't happen right away. So
if anything, you're going to see it on the defensive side. The offensive side is usually a tougher nut to crack.
I wonder if he can play defense, because he'd almost have a lock on that Bengals defense, because they just should put anybody else out there.
Offensive line, maybe.
That too.
Congratulations, Dante. We're really proud of you. Just know that if it doesn't happen, we'll be more than happy to welcome you back here in Saskatchewan. But because he was a pending free agent, the Riders didn't have to release him for this, which means if he does come back up to the CFL, we don't have his rights. He's just a straight up free agent. So I know some people were asking if we still keep his rights. Well, we do until February 10th when the Ed Hervey tampering window closes and free agency opens. After that, he is a total free agent in the CFL. And if he comes back up here, he can sign with absolutely anybody he wants. So.
Yeah, this is not like the JoJo signing last year where we still retained his rights for as long as his contract was. So, unfortunately, because he's a free agent, there's going to be a mad scramble by a lot of teams if he becomes available.
There will be 9 teams.
I have a feeling the Riders will have a little bit of cap money set aside just in case things don't work out in Cincinnati, and it'll be one phone call and we'll find him here.
But there's a trickle-down effect with that, with the receivers. So that potentially frees up some cash for potentially re-signing Keyshawn Johnson, who's a pending free agent and doesn't have a contract. So this does kind of open the door for the Riders to potentially throw more money at Keyshawn Johnson if that's what's needed to keep him here in green and white for this year. Possibly with Joe Robustelli as well, too. So there's a little bit of room, but it just kind of puts that importance a little bit more on getting, I mean, Keyshawn Johnson locked up, but also Robustelli and kind of getting a plan with what we're going to do with our American receivers.
And I definitely think that might have been part of the reason why our American receivers haven't been locked in yet, because Jo probably was waiting to see what does happen with Dante, because I think you probably could have took a guess that he was getting signed, but nothing's guaranteed. We've seen guys have a bunch of workouts and nothing comes of it. So they had to make sure that Dante is gone before they start, okay, now how do we start slicing this pie?
Well, absolutely. You throw a bunch of money at Keyshawn Johnson, Joe Robustelli, and all that, and suddenly Dante Myers is free and looking for his paycheck, and you open the cupboard doors and there's nothing there. There'd be a very angry mob in Rider Nation if we had to watch Dante Myers in another jersey next season.
I would like to point out, Steve, as we pointed to everybody, salary cap doesn't count in the offseason. Sign everyone. Do the old Chris Jones. When they get into camp, then you renegotiate.
Exactly. So there is, I expect an announcement on Keyshawn Johnson fairly soon. Maybe not tomorrow soon, but fairly soon. That now that this is cleared up now with Dante Myers, that there's a little bit more priority placed on Keyshawn Johnson now.
Can I air a quick grievance? Speaking of signings,
we're like 51 weeks away from that.
I don't care. The Riders and their teasing of us with the AJ Allen thing, like basically they basically teed it up like it was like the Emilus one. So all of us on like New Year's Eve were like, it's happening. We're getting that AJ Allen signing. Like this is the same playbook they did with Emilus. And
they knew what they were doing.
Happened.
They knew what they were doing.
Hey, look how many impressions we got on social media with that Emilus thing. Do something else.
Yeah. Teased us AJ Allen and haven't delivered.
Well, they delivered Seosi Mariner. That was the next signing.
Basically the same thing.
Obviously the Sam Emilus signing, 2 years, which is great. Locking him up through 2027 through the Grey Cup year. There's the Canadian receiver. There's the number one receiver. Great with Trevor Harris, of course. Gets under 300K, which I think is a win for Jeremy O'Day and the Riders, because when you look at Tyson Philpott's contract, yeah, I thought Emilus would have gotten significantly more than that.
This is definitely
300K mark. So I think it's a good deal for both sides.
Oh, 100%. This is definitely the hometown discount, if you will. If you can call 300,000 or just shy of 300,000 for a receiver in this league as a hometown discount, but dude's worth it. Like the passport's there. He's the obvious number one receiver on this team, and like you had to sign him. And having Trevor back definitely probably swung the momentum to bring him back. That's for sure.
I had to laugh. I didn't notice when they did all that teasing of Sam Emilus. I didn't see Trevor Harris in the mentions there asking where the extension was coming from, but he was actually in those mentions asking where Emilus's contract extension announcement was. So that tells you where he feels his number one guy is. It was an open checkbook. Whatever he wanted, you handed him that checkbook that said, sign what you need. Put your little scribble on the bottom. Let's get it done. And the fact that it was under 300K is that's a win. I'm thrilled. I'd say he'll be in my next jersey, but I'm not doing that to him.
I'm legitimately surprised though he hasn't ever talked about the NFL market. Like he seems to be like his name never comes up. He never talks about going down there, and that window for a receiver is getting smaller and smaller. So.
Now with Emilus, there's also a trickle down with the receivers with him. Sorry, one more thing about the 300K before I get there. I know a lot of people were saying, wow, that's a lot for a receiver, a Canadian receiver. Yes, but that also tells me that the salary cap is significantly going up.
Oh, it has to be.
Like the teams know it was set to go up this upcoming year anyway. I think it's going up a little bit more, and with some of the contracts we've seen thrown around, I expect it to be pretty good for a lot of veteran players to be getting that are hitting free agency here. So I wouldn't worry about, they're over the cap or anything now. Like you said, it doesn't matter right now. I think there'll be money to throw around.
It definitely appears the way that the numbers have come up this offseason that all the teams know there's going to be a significant increase, because you don't see a lot of multi-year, like into the threes for a lot of players in the CFL this early in the signing season. That usually doesn't show up until the Ed Hervey window. So I'm very curious to see what this cap ends up being at.
Well, that just makes the $500,000 that Trevor Harris signed for so much more important, because if that big deal is coming down the pipelines where you're going to see that huge raise, getting him locked in at still under previous starters' market value is killer.
Yeah, he's what, fifth or he's sixth in quarterback pay, something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
But the trickle down effect with the Sam Emilus deal. Okay, well, we have Kean Schaefer-Baker, Tommy Neild, both Canadian receivers, both pending free agents. How big is that budget now when you're giving Sam Emilus a probably a very significant raise? Is there enough to keep both of them, KSB and Tommy Neild, around? And if not, which one are you, the GM of the team here, guys? Who are you keeping?
I'm keeping touchdown Tommy, and it's not even close to me. And it's not because I think he's more valuable or a better player than Kean Schaefer-Baker. It's that he's going to come in at a relatively good chunk lower money size contract than KSB is going to get. And unfortunately, Kean Schaefer-Baker's been shown to be an injury issue. This is not the first season he's missed half the games. It's a problem that you can't afford to keep subsidizing. And if you have to pick between one or the other, I'm going to take the guy that Trevor Harris showed a ton of comfort in the red zone.
And I'm, my heart says KSB, my head says Neild, but I'm going to argue for KSB on this one. Harris has shown trust in KSB when he's on the field as well. I think your assumption that Neild's contract is going to be less than KSB's, I don't think so. I think they're probably going to be about even. The offers are going to be about even, for the simple fact that is, yes, you're right. KSB is shown to be injury prone, and Neild has been shown to be both very reliable on the field and was that safety blanket near the end of the season for Harris. So I don't think their contracts are going to be that different. It's just going to come down to how much you, I guess, who do you trust more at the end of the day? Because you also have to remember, Joe's still on this team for Canadian receivers. We still got DDB. Daniel Weeb is coming up. Mims is on this roster. Like, they've got talent where it could be, unfortunately, a simple situation where we don't sign either because you already have guys waiting in the wings.
I think they get one of them. I don't think they get both. I'm with you, Greg. My heart says KSB, and that goes deeper than just what he's done on the field. We've seen when he's healthy, the guy is a great receiver. He can put up some really good yards, clutch plays. We've seen that from him. He's in the community, man. Like he does everything with the team in the community. He's out at every signing. He's the most popular player on this team. If it's not him, it's AJ Ouellette. But I honestly believe it's KSB.
I think you could count more KSB jerseys than you can with Ouellette. Yes, KSB's been here longer, but just by simple eye test, there's more KSB jerseys than probably most other players.
I don't know. Right now, by the eye test, I only see one.
But Jeremy O'Day, I mean, he's not going to make decisions based off that. Can't do that. That's not the mark of a good GM. You have to do what's best for the team going forward. and you have to kind of remove that emotion for it. But to lose KSB would hurt the brand more than I think people realize, just in terms of the community involvement that he's in, the fact that he sells how many jerseys. I like Tommy Neild. I'm a big Tommy Neild fan. I really hope he's back. I don't think many people are going to rush out to get Tommy Neild jerseys. I don't think they're taking the Fantus name tag off their 83s and putting Neild on the back.
But on the flip side of that, everybody's already got a KSB jersey. People aren't going to go out and buy 2, 3, 4 of his jersey. Some will.
I was going to say, have you met Rider Nation? Are you kidding me?
But there's already so many of them out there that his departure could open up the next name. Because who are we kidding? Rider fans are going to go out. They're going to get somebody's jersey or name on the back of that jersey. They're not going to the Rider store just to get a KSB jersey. They're getting the jersey and then they're putting his name on it. So if he's not there, somebody else's name is going on the back of that jersey.
Strowler's whether it be Merry Christmas, Steve.
Why do you guys have to do this? I'm so prepped for vacation. Give me my peace. God.
But I don't know. Like, the way I look at it is the upside the downside of letting KSB walk to me would be similar to the Dressler / Chick situation, where you're going to have a lot of people ready to light this organization on fire, even after a Grey Cup.
It's different though, because you're not releasing him. You're letting him go to free agency and just not re-signing him. Whereas Chris Jones came in and one of his first things that he did was cut everybody.
I think if the Riders want if you are letting, and you're not signing KSB, if you're not signing KSB, you do the thank him for his service, release him early so he can sign somewhere before free agency.
He is also the coach of the hockey team, one of the hockey teams that's playing against Brett Lothar. So
that game already happened though.
February 2nd.
Oh, I thought it was January 2nd.
No. So they're not going to.
They're stuck with them. So you're telling me they can't do that?
Yeah.
Loser leaves town in hockey. There you go.
Well, I know which route a lot of Rider Nation's going to be.
I really hope KSB's team pulls out the win on that one.
Well, no, he's playing with Lothar actually. He's on Lothar, and it's against a Joe and Joe, and who's the other team?
I thought KSB was the coach.
No, KSB and Lothar. It's Team Lothar with KSB on the bench as a coach.
Oh, okay.
And it's against Team Getzlaff with a Joe, I think.
Oh, okay.
I think that's how they work it.
So two former riders at the head there, and then the current riders beneath them.
Something like that.
Sorry, I just don't see a situation where Brett Lothar's back next year, but
he's under contract.
Yep.
Oh.
We're gonna have a bigger conversation coming up. Not now, but
no.
Down the line in the off season, we'll have a kicker conversation before training camp for sure. Some other Rider news, a couple other, I don't want to call them minor signings, but guys that we've never heard of, right? Garnet Hollis Jr., a defensive back, and Jalen Pate, a defensive lineman, signed this past week as well. So signings that, Weston Dressler was signed in March, I think, of 2008, and no one knew who he was. So you never know.
And so was Wayne Ruby Jr., and we know how that went.
Sorry for your loss, Greg.
Yeah, I know.
Micah Johnson. Didn't know what was going to happen with him being a pending free agent. Was he going to come back for one more year? No. He announced his retirement and joined the Riders as the new defensive line coach. What was your guys' thoughts when you saw that news the other day?
What? Followed immediately by that makes perfect sense, and I love that he's sticking around in Rider Nation. But shock was the first one.
It didn't really surprise me. It's that rumbling has been going on for like the last 2 seasons that he's been close to hanging him up. Him going out on a high is awesome because he deserves it. you kind of could tell leading up to the Grey Cup, they had that kind of sit down talk with him and Mace for TSN, and they're talking about their connection and how he was talking about coaching in the future. I wouldn't doubt if that conversation was happening at that time, going, hey, if you're done, do you want to stick around and coach? We lost Philip Daniels, which kind of sucks because he just came off a Grey Cup and we're losing a really good coach who went to the Red Blacks. I'm not going to scream it like you do, but thought about it. Not going to do it.
Coward.
I know. Lord hates a coward, and I will gladly say I'm not going to scream into this microphone. But I'm glad he's here. It's kind of weird, though. His first coaching experience is going to be at the pro level, but he's the type of guy who basically led this line already. But like I said on X, a lot of players are going to have to answer why their coach has bigger arms than they do.
He's a big boy. I love this. It reminds me of what they did with Larry Dean. Immediately put him into a position with the organization to keep him around. And Micah Johnson moved his family here in 2023, I think.
2023.
So, been here full time, to keep him around is invaluable. So I mean, wish Philip Daniels all the best in 16 games with the Ottawa Red Blacks. But I mean, this Micah Johnson's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He was still incredibly good his last couple of seasons, all-star level, which doesn't happen often. But I think because they won the Grey Cup, the chance to go out on top doesn't happen very often. And I'm sure that probably that conversation between Mason and Johnson at Grey Cup, when they had them sitting down there, they were probably discussing it back before then. Even if we win this game, are you done? Like, if we lose, okay, yeah, Micah Johnson probably comes back one more year, but to get that chance to go out on top, it just doesn't happen very often. So not surprising to me that he retired. I'm kind of glad that they announced it now, and I mean, it makes sense with him moving to the coaching side, because they're going to announce the rest of their coaching staff. I think they said by the end of the week, or hope to anyway. But if he wasn't going to come back in free agency, it's best to know now. And obviously with the switch to coaching, it had to happen now. So,
and bonus points if that D line goes through any injury issues, your substitute is, on the sidelines ready to go.
Yeah, well, here's the problem. We lost our backup offensive lineman as well. So.
Right.
We're actually going to talk.
I would love to see him as a player coach, like Reg Dunlop, just throw on the helmet every once in a while, go out there, run into the rotation, and come out.
Yeah, do what Pinball did a few years ago, 20 years ago.
It's not quite a few.
Oh God, I'm old. We'll talk more about the defensive line coming up, because we're actually in our free agent preview. We're talking D-line coming up here in a little bit. So we'll talk a little bit more about that and the effect there, and why signing Mike Rose now becomes way more important. All right.
So what article are you going to write next that is going to be completely nullified the next day?
Yeah. I'm every day now until the Ed Hervey window on pifflespodcast.com. Check them out. I'm writing about every single free agent, because the Riders have 35 of them. Well, 33 now, with Dante Myers and Micah Johnson off the board. 33 more free agents. Going to write about them every day until the Ed Hervey window pops up. So I'm doing Habakkuk Baldonado tomorrow on Wednesday, so maybe we'll get some news on that. We'll talk about him in the D-line talk coming up. One last thing in the opening kickoff here, and this is going to be a fun one. I forget how it kind of came up, but we want to do a little.
I know how it came up, but we're not telling that story on the air.
We need to give out awards on this show. We do kind of like we pick preseason who's going to be like the unsung hero, all that kind of stuff. We want to do something fun here, and we're going to do that. Steve, we'll wait till you come back from vacations. When you come back, we'll have a little award show on the Piffles podcast.
I'll get my tux.
I was gonna say, do we have to dress up for this? Because that sounds
Yes, you do.
fantastic.
It is a very formal event. Okay, top hats. if
These
you
are
have-
prestigious awards.
We're gonna
Yes.
rent the good booth at Dairy Queen.
I think we're calling them the Piffles, but name is subject to change if we can find or think of something better.
The awards for achievement and excellence.
Ooh, yes, I like that. But we're gonna have some fun with this. There will be some serious awards, and we actually want to have everybody's input on this. So we're gonna start throwing them up in social media over the next couple weeks here. Want to know who's the most popular rider? What was the play of the year in 2025? Who's your favorite guest on the show? Is it Replacement Steve? Was it Corey Mace?
Was
your
it Corey Mace's wife?
She was a great guest on the show, actually.
It was.
It's one of our highest rated videos.
It is actually still, yeah.
Play of the year.
Yeah, we're gonna. So we'll put those up and we'll put them on social media and whatnot. So please vote on that. But there'll be some other awards, such as most likely to list a stat about a player that died 25 years before they were born. Rob Vanstone might have the lead in that one right now. I'm not sure, but we'll have some fun awards and we're gonna have some fun. So stick around for that. But that's the opening kickoff presented by Kathy Festian of Royal LePage Next Level. Greg, you have a surprise for us.
I do.
You remember that guy?
I do.
Steve wasn't here when you said what you were gonna do. I know what you're gonna do. I don't know who it is.
No.
But we won't ruin the surprise. So Steve will find out when I do, I guess. But remember that guy, sponsored by District 306, Redundant's Tactical Laser Tech Experience. Greg is going to pick a player from Saskatchewan Roughriders history, give us some hints, and we have to guess who it is. So let's remember that guy. Greg, how many Vanstones are you kicking off 2026 with?
I got fairly specific early in this, and then you're definitely going to get by the last one because the last clue is a multimedia clue. And it basically just tells you right out who it is.
Oh, good. So I have a chance today.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Clue number one. We are starting 2026 with a 26.
Graham Bell.
No.
Kenton
Began.
Keith.
No.
Oh, he's 28. Damn.
Began his college career at Louisville, but then transferred to Georgia Tech, where he was first team All ACC. He was drafted in the 7th round of the NFL draft. Has a Super Bowl ring.
Cedric Shaw.
No. Has a 2-time rider. In his first season with the Riders, he fell just short of 1,000 yards, but finished second in rushing to John Cornish.
Oh, God.
And finally, I cannot watch this meme clip without thinking about him. And we're going to video.
Alan! 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 Al! Alan!
Yeah. AJ, or not AJ. Alan.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Anthony Allen.
Yeah. Why am I blanking on
Anthony
Right?
Allen.
Anthony?
Yeah, I'm
Allen.
like,
Yes.
the problem with too many Allens is now it's like AJ. That's the only Allen we care about right now. But yep, Anthony Allen.
I will never forget when he got hot that year. My entire section, every time he got the ball or got a first down, Allen, 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 Allen.
I honestly forgot about him.
I forgot he was that good that first year.
He was very solid. What do you have? I'm actually bringing up his stats on CFL.ca. Thanks to Genius Sports, he has his 2020 or 2016 BC Lions stats and nothing else. So good job, guys. Appreciate that.
Yeah, he was drafted by the Ravens, out of University of Georgia Tech, and that he won a great Cup Super Bowl that year, on the roster, and then he ended up in Buffalo before he came here, right?
Well, we know he didn't win a Super Bowl there.
He definitely did not win a Super Bowl there. Yeah, he signed with the Bills in 2014, got released, signed with us, and then 2014. 169 rushing attempts, 930 yards, 5 touchdowns. Second to John Cornish, who finished the year with 1,082 yards. He also had 244 receiving yards and 3 receiving touchdowns.
And nothing on his second stint because he was cut 15 days later.
Yes. Yeah.
I honestly forgot about him.
He's on a very long list of things that you wonder what would have happened if Corey Sheets didn't go to the NFL.
Because he replaced Sheets. He was Sheets' replacement. And we also had why am I trying to blank on the 2015 Rough Riders?
Because they weren't good. They're very
It's like, can we draw a blank on that permanently? That'd be great.
Running back who did bad things, whose names escape me right now.
Jerome Messam.
We had Messam, and we had 3 running backs that year.
Because it's a great clue for a future. Yeah. Remember that
running
guy.
back who was a piece of garbage. But yeah, like they had 3 running backs that year, and Allen beat him out to be the lead guy. So, but yeah,
I'm sure
I
Gove
decided
way before we did, though.
Hmm?
I'm sure Gove got that way before we did.
Oh, probably.
I'm gonna chalk this up doing a show in a couple weeks and me being rusty. That's my excuse this week.
My excuse is I'm an idiot.
There you go.
Checks out.
Yeah. I'm like, let's start with a 26 for 26, and I'm like going through, who am I going to pick out of 26? I thought Tavon Campbell might be a little bit of doom scrolling there on that one. It's like, hey, he's not technically a former rider yet.
Let's not forget about him yet.
Yeah. So.
Well, there we go. There's Anthony Allen on Remember That Guy, sponsored by District 306. Let's get to the Churchill Brewing Company odds and end zones, a look around the CFL. A few things we'll talk about, I guess. Over the holiday season, I don't know how much you guys want to talk about this stuff. Jarius Jackson leaving the Bombers, being their head quarterback coach, going to be the new Calgary Stampeders quarterback coach, replacing Dakota.
Like I said on Twitter, I can't imagine watching the Bombers quarterback play last year and going, you know what would make us better? That guy. Although the way Calgary is getting hurt today, they could use a good coach in there. But we'll get into that in a bit.
Yeah, I don't know. This year, it feels like there's gonna be a lot of coach movement this year. I don't know. It just seems like there's a lot of guys that are subtly moving. Like there's not a lot of releases, like big splashy releases. Guys are just moving this year. It feels like
Quarterbacks aren't moving, so somebody has to.
Yeah.
Steve, you referenced the Stamps having a bad day. Damien Alford, star Canadian receiver, signed with the New Orleans Saints. Jalen Hutchings, defensive lineman, interior defensive lineman, signed with the Minnesota Vikings. That guy, he's a terror. Very happy he won't be lining up against us anytime soon. Anyway, I think it was the linebacker
Jacob Roberts.
signed
the other, yeah. Yep.
In the NFL, which is pretty crazy to me that he got a 3-year term coming up from the CFL, and that was with
Yep. The good news, I get to keep hating him. He signed with the Vikings.
the Vikings as well. So,
Yep.
whoa! You're missing the big one out of Calgary today. Jeshurun Antwi has retired, so I don't know who's going to do the quick kick anymore.
yeah, the dribble kick, the punt.
Yeah.
Somebody somewhere. Thanks for that. He did it twice, right? Thanks for those.
Both in Montreal. Then he went to Calgary. He never did it again. I'm like, why?
Dave Dickinson doesn't like fun things.
Craig Dickinson, special teams.
Yeah, both of them.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Matt Schiltz retired. Quarterback that I don't want to say never was, but
Kind of, sort of was at one point, but not really.
yeah.
He was on everyone's list of quarterback to take that next step that never took the next step.
But speaking of quarterbacks, obviously the Riders are they're in the market for a number 2 quarterback. They just have Trevor Harris, they have Tommy Stevens, and they have Braden Shager under contract, and that's it. So there's a big opportunity for a backup quarterback. A lot of people talk about Taylor Powell. What do you guys think of that?
I wouldn't hate that at all.
He's definitely this year's shiny new toy when it comes like I remember like this is like when Arbuckle was out there, when Drew Brown was out there. Everyone has a new favorite backup quarterback that's going to be the next guy. Powell looks good, but so did Arbuckle. Like it's you got those guys that look good in short spurts. It's, once you get a lot of film on them, they don't shine like that.
Toronto fans will call you out on that and say that's Grey Cup champion Nick Arbuckle to you.
And we thank him for that.
Yes,
we do.
Our hearts.
Extensively.
We thank him for his service.
Yes. Yeah. We had a trade in the CFL. Edmonton traded away linebacker Niles Morgan and a 3rd round pick and a 5th round pick in the draft for a 3rd round and a 4th round. So they move up a couple spots and offload a contract that, their young linebackers have stepped up, look pretty good. So Morgan goes to Ottawa, and it's not very often you get a win-win trade for both teams. I think this is one of those.
It's really good because Edmonton is looking at going younger in that spot, and they've had some really good young linebackers. But when you got a guy but part of that was because Dublanco was there, and he was making that step, but he had an NFL workout. Like he's getting some looks. Like they might have done it too early. I don't know.
I swear that never happens.
I don't mind it. It works. Good deal for both sides.
And I'm excited to see tomorrow on Wednesday, the CFLPA is releasing their 2nd annual club report cards. So we're going to find out if the Calgary Stampeders upped their game in 2025 and got hot breakfasts for their team.
That is still the funniest one of all. I don't know why I find Calgary and them all complaining they couldn't get a hot breakfast. I don't know why I find that one the funniest of last year's, but
this is becoming my favorite day of the year. It is ridiculous the things you see on these little report cards, and I can't wait to see everybody scores out and what the funny one from 2026 is going to be.
I know it's a complete coincidence, but the timing of it is funny just because I think it was yesterday on Instagram and all the NFL social medias, they posted what a team gets for food on they're on a road game, how many meals they actually get. And then you see what these report cards in the CFL coming up, and they're like, yo, we just want a toaster. And they don't get it.
Just want a toaster.
That's a hot breakfast.
It is. Yeah.
Hot bread.
Yeah, the problem is next year is going to be like, well, we want one that can actually do bagels. They only got us a single slice toaster.
Yeah, can we get Montreal bagels, please?
I'm really curious, though, because I just pulled up last year's report card, and I'm not looking at the comments, but you look at a team like BC that has that obvious, the owner's putting a bunch of money behind it. They took a lot of D's and C's when it came to administration and medical staff and equipment and family treatment and nutrition and diet. Like it's really interesting to see that. Like Edmonton was an F. Everyone wants to make fun of Calgary, but Edmonton's food, diet, nutrition was an F. So I'm very curious to see who's improved and who's regressed.
Well, I mean, you have a guy like Amar Doman who clearly wants to throw money around in the CFL, which is great. Improve stuff like that. That's only a good thing for our players in our league. So hopefully he's taking that seriously. And in Edmonton, that'll be interesting going from a community-owned team to being privately owned now. So does their owner care?
Actually, I just remembered my second funniest thing about the last year's. Ottawa's cowards did not put in a single comment. Out of the 53 responses, no one provided any written responses.
or ones that were able to be put out.
No, the note on here specifically says
yeah.
no written responses provided out of 53 surveys. So they just didn't write anything. So
Somebody went through that locker room saying, "Don't you dare."
Oh, 100%. That's exactly what happened.
Here's a shiny $20 bill. Please close your mouths, guys.
Yeah.
We got an offer for Montreal Bagels in the comments.
Oh,
Capper.
Yep, absolutely. I think I still have some in the freezer from our trip that I brought home for Amy. I think I still have a couple of them in the freezer.
I've never actually had a Montreal
2024. What is wrong with you? I don't even like bagels.
I've never been to Montreal. No, sorry, I've been to Montreal once. Sorry.
There's a laundry list of things wrong with me, Steve.
Not you. I was talking to Greg.
Oh.
I've known you long enough. I know that list. That's fine.
I don't have to explain that to you.
No.
Well, anyway, I'm looking forward to seeing what comes up in those report cards tomorrow. So we'll be paying attention to those and hopefully having some fun at some other teams' expenses, because 2025, who can be upset with the Riders, right? Look what happened.
I'm very curious on how the Riders comes out this year. Last year, their lowest mark actually was a nutrition with a D+, but everything else was A's and B's. So
that was probably because of Real. Let's be honest.
Oh yeah, Real food's terrible. I will definitely.
With the new shakeup that they have, hopefully things can change on that end. But I'm not
hopeful.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, we'll be paying attention to that as that comes out tomorrow. Okay, one more thing before we go. We are doing our tour of Saskatchewan Roughriders free agents by position group here on the show, leading up to the Ed Hervey negotiation window. So we're going to take a little bit of a dive here into the defensive line and taking a look at who they have, who they don't have, look at the free agents, and we'll get some thoughts. So let's go with who they have under contract right now. Because when I look at starters on the D-line right now,
there's not a lot of experience.
No. We'll start with the interior because I think you can kind of pencil in right now Caleb Sanders as a starting defensive tackle.
Mm.
And beside him, Elise Sod. And I really liked what I saw out of Sod last year, both on the D-line, especially late in the year. He got a lot of reps. And then flipping him over to offense in the short yardage. He was great as that lead blocker, kind of tight end fullback, pulling, from one side to the other, providing that lead block on handoffs there or on the quarterback. Yeah. So I think coming into free agency, I really think finding another Canadian defensive lineman to back him up is going to be a big priority. Or maybe it's in the draft where they go after a couple guys maybe, and then you can have an Elise Sod start. There's a ratio help right there as well too. So I look at Sanders and Sod on the inside. On the outside, Chico Bennett Jr. is probably the next guy with most rider experience with snaps on the outside. And Devin Adams,
I was going to say, might have the most experience out of anyone, but yeah.
But otherwise, you're looking at new recruits. Like it's Sonny Anderson, Kendi Charles. He's an interior guy. He was with the Riders on the practice roster last year. Kevin Orange Jr., newly signed Jalen Pate. Aaron Patrick, who only played special teams, very limited snaps on the D-line last year, which was kind of surprising, actually. And Davin Van. And they do have Sylvain, I'm going to screw it up, Jan Juin, global draft pick from last year. He did spend a little bit of time here, back signed for 2026. So there's not a lot in the cupboard, at least in terms of proven experience here. So that is an area of concern right now. So I think a big focal point of free agency, and even these last couple of weeks leading up to it, is locking up a couple guys that we have. Well, won't be Micah Johnson anymore as he retires, so we'll cross it right off the list now. So we'll start with the free agents, the Canadians. We'll start with the Canadians. And Charbel de Beer, I want to start with him because we talked about this last year in 2025 when he got, or before he got hurt. It was the Riders are going to have tough decisions coming up with potentially KSB and Charbel de Beer just with their injury histories. And De Beer gets hurt again and misses basically the entire season. I'd love to have him back. I think he'd be great as a rotational backup guy to Ali Saad. We talked about it with KSB is the best ability you have is availability. De Beer just doesn't have that anymore. Like is he done?
Because it's knee injuries, is it not? Like,
Yeah.
And he's a big boy. Like he is a plug of a man. Like he's not as tall, but he's wide. And that's why he's so good up the middle. And I'm carrying that much weight on those knees and those legs. It's not like you have to think if he's not here next year. I don't know who runs the risk of bringing him on because he hasn't proven to stay healthy. And I like the guy when he's on the field. He's great, but he's not on the field that much.
Honestly, despite him being a 5-star Uber passenger, I just don't see the necessity. I just, like you've said, you have to be able to be on the field, and he hasn't been. The talent is there. He is a very talented player, but if you can't rely on the guy, unless he's willing to come back in at damn near league minimum, you can find that value elsewhere, and you have to. We saw this year that getting pressure and that defensive line and the offensive line is the key to success with this team and in football in general. They need to make sure the guys they pay and the guys they pay money to are going to be out there on every weekend.
I think out of the three Canadians on this list, I think Benoit Marion is probably a priority over De Beer and Lake Corte-Moore. Like he's shown to me anyway the most upside out of any of those three right now, except unless De Beer can stay healthy. If De Beer can stay healthy, then we can have a conversation.
Yeah, Marion, when he came in 2024 at the end of the year, I think I don't want to say overachieved, but he did better than I think we all kind of thought that he would do, and was part of the rotation. Didn't make the roster quite a bit. He ended up getting hurt in 2025.
He got dinged up this year. Yeah.
So again, this defense that Corey Mace runs, you need to have 8-9 defensive linemen. So I don't mind them going out and bringing Benoit Marion back at all. He's not going to be a starter. He's going to be a rotational type guy, which is fine. Lake Corte-Moore is the interesting one because he has that torn ACL, and I think they like him. I think they like him enough to want to bring him back for 2026. But it could also be that situation where it's like, get healthy. We'll do everything we can to help you out to get you ready for the season. When you're healthy, we'll sign you to a deal then, just so he doesn't count against the numbers before training camp. So I wonder if that's the case, because he's not going to be ready for the start of the year. I'd be shocked if he is. So if he's going to be, a week, just throwing it out, week 3 is when he's fully healthy. Okay, maybe that's when you sign him and slowly bring him on from there.
That's it too. Like, unfortunately, with the league now counting guys that came to camp, went to school, and come back as counters, they never did. Like those guys were always deemed as exceptions.
Mm-hmm.
You have less guys now that you can bring into camp. So last thing you want is a guy who won't be around counting towards your preseason numbers.
Out of that list of three, to me, the key is I would go after Lake Cortemore, but as you said, it's more the once he gets healthy. I don't think he's going to command top dollar, but he's shown to be a valuable piece on that defense when he gets out there. Just again, injury issues are going to be a concern, but I don't think there's anybody in that list that is, an absolute must sign other than the fact that we have one other Canadian D lineman under contract.
But you look at the rest of the guys on this free agency list, minus one guy, they all have injury histories.
Yeah.
Or two guys. I guess Habakkuk hasn't been dinged up that much yet.
Let's go to Mike Rose right now and finish off the interior. Because the other guys are edge guys. With the retirement of Micah Johnson, Mike Rose now becomes a little bit more of a priority. And you can also have him as the DA, the designated American or whatever, paired with Ali Saad, where Saad or Rose can only come in for 25 plays or whatever it is, the big giant convoluted rule. But all of a sudden, Mike Rose is now potentially a higher priority. So I wrote on Sunday that I can see him testing free agency because he's going to command a decent salary, and he had a very solid season, not like he had a couple of years ago. I think everybody's still stuck on the 2023 numbers that he was putting up with 11 sacks, but his 6 sacks were kind of around his career average. Like he was getting 5, 6, 7 sacks fairly consistently, other than that 1 year where he had 11. So, I mean, the guy is proven. He's a veteran leader, has a Grey Cup championship now. He's going to cost a little bit more. What do you guys think of Mike Rose and the chances of him coming back?
He's definitely getting to the Hervey window, unless the Riders blow his socks off. If I were him, I would definitely test the market. But based on what we got, he's definitely priority. I don't know who else on that list, with the possible exception of Malik Carney. Who else are you going to spend money on that defensive line? Like you need, if you're bringing anyone back, those are probably the top 2 guys that are left.
Mike Rose has become a must sign with Micah Johnson out. Not quite to the extent of throw him the open checkbook like you do with Sam Emilus, but if he's asking for a decent raise, you give it to him because you're probably playing a rookie beside him instead of whatever it was that Micah Johnson was making in 2025. So give him a little bit of a raise, keep him here. You need that veteran presence along that D-line in the interior. And he won a Grey Cup. He's clearly got the skills still. So
Shane Ray on the edge. Do you guys even offer him a contract? Because I say you tell him to hold off until Labor Day and then bring him in, because the injury history with him is very deep. That's it's got him out of the NFL, right? When he was healthy in the CFL with us, very
he was good.
Solid. Yep. But again, it's that availability, right? I can see them offering him I don't want to say a lowball offer, but a pretty minimal offer with a lot of incentives, a very incentive-laden contract. I can see that. If he signs it, great. See if he can make it to training camp, if he's healthy enough and whatnot, cool. But I wouldn't go spending any more than a penny more than I have to bring him back.
We said it when we signed him. You have to be able to step on the field, and that was the biggest concern with him. And again, it was an issue in 25. The only option you have with him is an incentive-laden deal. Make him earn every dollar, and I don't think he takes it. As a veteran guy, he's earned the right to go out and get paid because he has the talent. He's a very talented defensive lineman when he's on the field, but he's not on there very often.
I'm currently scrolling the defensive line list, the free agency list, just kind of curious on who's out there. Oh, she might be slim pickings going into free agency. There might be 1 or 2 top tier names out there if they make free agency. because we're still early into it. I would throw a number at Ray. I'd throw a number at Haba. I'd throw a number at Rose, and hope you sign one, if not two of those guys, because you're going to need some cohesion from last season to this season on that defensive line. Yes, your leader of that defensive line is now coaching that defensive line, but you still need someone on the field. So I think Mike Rose might be your answer to that.
Habakkuk Baldonado. Before I would have said he would be an absolute must sign, especially with the global passport. If the team is going to go with just Jesse Mirko as the punter, there's your one global, your second global, Baldonado. And he's been very solid on the field when he's played in that rotation. Really like what we've seen out of him. But with having that other global defensive lineman that we have the global draft coming up. Questions around Brett Lothar. I didn't think Baldonado and Brett Lothar would have kind of a hand in hand in contract talks here. But if the Riders want to look at potentially replacing Brett Lothar after his struggles last year, I mean, missing that kick in the Grey Cup pretty much opened the game for Montreal to come back and almost tie it. Do you go the same route that the other teams are doing and having your punter and your kicker both being globals, and you can hide your two globals there and not waste a skill position on them?
Well, here's the thing with him is
not a must sign.
I don't think you're hiding Habakkuk Baldonado like you are other global guys. I think he's good enough to actually earn that spot. Absolutely. Regardless of the global position. So I don't think you look at it as, do you sign him as a global guy? I think you bring him on regardless, and I think he's absolutely a must sign. If you still decide to go elsewhere at kicker and have a third global guy on the field,
do you really think they'd have 3 globals on the roster, though? Be honest. I don't think so.
No, but then they just don't force a global spot as your place kicker. Maybe they look American. Maybe they look elsewhere. Or maybe they bring Brett Lothar back. Who knows? But to me, Baldonado has earned his spot on that defensive line. And you look at A, what's out there, and B, what we've got in the cupboard. He might be a day one starter.
I think he could be a day one starter. Haba showed last year that he could definitely be there. Like, even if his sack numbers don't show it, but he was always in that backfield. He was in the backfield the year before. Like, he always seems to get off the ball really fast. I think if you're worried about the global position, and yes, you've got Mirko, there's nothing saying that old Sylvain here is going to be any good either. Like, we haven't seen what he can do. Mm-hmm. Like, if you're worried about having 3 global players, let's see what Sylvain can do under live fire. But I think Haba is definitely. I think it's hard to walk away from that guy, especially unless you have your defensive line set, and it's going to be a tough making decision on it. Right now, we are having a lot of trouble trying to figure out what this defensive line is going to look like. And at least he's the devil we know.
I hope he's back, honestly. I really do, because regardless of passport, he's earned a spot on a CFL roster, and I hope that remains to be ours.
And it's just fun to say his name.
And Malik Carney is the other one, the defensive end. Great in spurts. Kind of seems to go missing for a few games here and there. To be fair, I think every defensive end kind of runs into that problem, though. But I look at this list, I'm like, that's kind of the guy. We don't really have any. I mean, at least on the inside, you have Caleb Sanders, who's proven, Elise Saad, who did really well. On the outside, you really have nobody proven on this roster. So all of a sudden, Carney becomes a pretty big priority for me for this team to sign.
I look at, yes, you're not wrong. If you want to bring back someone that's proven, but I also look at the Riders' history. and they've always, for a while there, yes, we had a lull a couple of years ago where we couldn't find anyone to find a quarterback. They needed a map, a GPS, and a bus before they got to the quarterback, because they just could not get back there. But you look at what this team was, we never had a problem finding pass rushers. Usually we had a couple of them on the team, and it was, you're arguing on who was better. I don't know. I like Malik, but it's got to be at the right price tag, I think.
He's almost again a must sign to me, just given the fact that we have such a bare cupboard. We keep going back to that, but that's the fact of what we've got right now is a lot of inexperience and a lot of young talent, but young is the key word. And this is a Grey Cup contending roster right now. It's not a roster where you're looking to build the next guy. It's the roster where you are expected to compete in November. So you need guys like Malik Carney under roster until you know you've got somebody to fill his shoes.
Yeah, if some of these other guys show up better in training camp, then yeah, maybe you say goodbye to Malik Carney after training camp. But I think you gotta at least bring him in.
You need some veteran presence back there, because right now your lead guy with most experience is Caleb Sanders
and Devin Adams. Yep. It's a far cry from what we saw the last time we saw this team. So
how many games did we lose by Micah retiring games of experience?
Yeah, what's his war? Jeez. We might find that out the hard way. But it'll be interesting to see what they do with the D line and how many new faces we'll see. Because I mean, every year you're going to get turnover and change. When you win a Grey Cup champion, you're going to get turnover and change because everybody believes they deserve more money, and they'll get it somewhere being a champion. So you tend to lose a healthy amount of players that way too. So we're gonna have to see, right? Hopefully we'll see something in the next couple of weeks. One or two of these names, Carney, Rose, Baldonado, two of those three for sure. Hopefully we can see be brought back before the Ed Hervey tampering window opens. But we'll see, I guess. And that will conclude our look at the defensive line in our free agent positional preview. I'll have to go back and see which ones we did. There's not very many groups we have left to go through, I think. I don't remember. I had them right now, I think.
We did quarterbacks. We did receivers.
Did defensive backs.
We haven't done O-line yet.
Maybe we'll do O-line next week. Let me mark that down so we don't forget. All right, there we go. We'll do the O-line next week. That one will be I'm expecting some turnover there, especially with the Americans. But we'll save that for next week. But Steve, we're going to get out of here. That means you're one step closer to vacation. So
thank the Lord.
Enjoy your time off, even though it won't be much relaxing when you have 3 kids running around. You still have to parent them on vacation, so just remember that.
If they piss me off on the cruise ship, you can just throw them in that, whatever they call it, the adventure ocean, or
yeah.
Isn't that just the real ocean?
Yeah, that's if they really make you mad.
Replacement
Apparently
Steve, have
that's
your
frowned
people
upon.
call our people.
Yeah.
So enjoy your vacation, Steve.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks. Greg, unfortunately, you'll see me next week. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and like I just said, replacement Steve, have your people call our people.
We'll see what we can do. We'll have our agents talk. We'll leave it there with the Piffles podcast, though. Of course, the show is brought to you by our great friends at Dairy Queen on Elphinstone Street and Sass Drive in Regina. I got my coupons in the mail today, actually.
So did I.
Yes. Looking forward to the BOGO blizzards.
Where's mine?
Going on vacation.
Yeah.
You're not going to use them.
No,
Give me your
it's the only
coupon.
blizzard I'm going to see for 2 weeks.
Special
I hope
thanks.
you're wrong.
Special thanks as well go to Kathy Festian of Royal LePage Next Level, Churchill Brewing Company, District 306 for Jonathan's Tactical Laser Tag Experience, Bigfoot Vodka, and Creasy's Premium Home Leisure Jacuzzi Spas for their support, making everything possible. Thanks to you, the listener. Thanks to you, the watcher. Wherever you get your podcast, watching on SaskTel, Max TV, on demand, on the live stream, or on YouTube. We don't have a new song this year. We should reach out to Tanner or to Taryn and see if he can get us a new one. But until then, this goes Behind Your Mind by Tyler Gilbert.
Thank you for being such a big supporter and fan of the CFL and myself personally.